Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk to you about the unit we're going to be working on, which is reading the book Night by Elie Wiesel. I'm going to show you how to get to the website so the screencast can make it a little bit easier. You can see that we're on the home page for our high school, and all we're going to do is click on faculty because that's where I am, and then find my name. This is in your syllabus, but it's been a while since you read the syllabus, I'm sure. Anyway, here I am. Here's my name, and so here's the website, my main website that has our English 2 discussions and daybook things and different units that we've done. We're going to scroll down to Unit 4, Night. And on this page is just a little bit of an overview of some of the things that we're going to work on during the semester. I have a quote from Elie Wiesel for you. These are the standard course of study goals that we're going to be working on the next couple of weeks, and then some essential questions about the role of faith, silence, perpetuating violence, which is an interesting concept, and I hope that we can get into that in the class discussions. The importance of memory, and then how have world leaders reacted to human rights violations. Okay, so to get to the link, you will click on the quote there, and this will take you to a different web page. So what happens here is all of your online work will be housed on this website. And I will keep the web address up during our study so you can know kind of where we are. So I'll link you back to the big ideas we're going to work on here are the home button or home tab where our overview is, the introduction to our reading. So this is the introduction to the author and the first couple of chapters. Chapters 3 through 5 is going to be life in the camps and what Elie Wiesel and his father were going through at the time. The last 3 chapters, 7 through 9, are going through survival and how they're basically walking skeletons. And then your culminating unit is going to be a global awareness campaign where you're going to be working on some research with a group of peers. And then you'll have a unit reflection blog post. Okay, so those are our major tabs and things that we're going to work on. I have a quote to begin, which is from Elie Wiesel, which he says, "Indifference to me is the epitome of evil." So what he's saying here, and this is part of what his book is all about, is that people who don't take sides are worse than, are more evil than the people who actually do take sides, even if they commit atrocities. So this is one of those anticipatory things that we're going to talk about before we start reading together. So the first part of this is me giving you some information about Elie Wiesel and kind of what we're doing. Some of this is repetitive from the first homepage, which is just an overview of our essential questions and kind of things that we'll talk about during class and keep in mind as we're reading. And then again, the learning outcomes. You're going to be reading grade level text, and that means it's appropriate for 10th grade. We're going to be working with informational text, so remember that RI means reading for information. We're going to be working a lot with points of view and meanings of words, connotations of words, and analyzing how characters or events are unfolded. And then we have 3 writing components we're going to work on: informational text, digital tools, and research projects. This map is just to tell you where you are in the world when Elie Wiesel is telling you his story. So he is right around here in Transylvania, which is near Romania, and Ukraine is here, Russia is way over here, Germany is way over on this side. So I think you can click on that later and kind of see where you are if you need to. So again, the unit modules are going to be an introduction to the reading where you explore what life was like before the Holocaust began and while it was going on. Life in the camps for Elie and his father. Survival, which is the last part of the book where they are, I have right here, a tightrope between life and certain death. And then your global awareness campaign. We talked a little bit about this in class, but we'll definitely talk more about it as we go through this. And then again, you'll have a unit reflection. So I tell you that the next steps to the unit, you're just going to use the button. So every time you come to a button, you're going to know that that is where you need to go next or work on something. The buttons can keep you oriented to where you are on the page or the unit or the module, whatever you want to call it. I usually call them modules. The modules represent weeks particularly, so the introduction will be week 1, life mechanics week 2, survival is week 3, and the global awareness campaign is week 4. You don't have to take 3 weeks to read this book. It's only 100 pages, so you might, or I encourage you actually to go ahead and read the book in entirety, and then you have a chance to like review some things that will help you as you're going along. And so I'm not trying to hold you back to say you can only read the first 2 chapters in week 1. That's ridiculous. So because you know that I want you to read as much as possible. Okay. All right. So if I'm at the bottom of the page, I'm going to click next, and that's going to take me to the introduction to the reading. In this introduction, every page is listed with the things that you need to do during the week. Because this is a blended learning experience, we'll have class centered around the digital things I want you to do. Periodically, you'll have things to write in your notebook like you normally do, but then sometimes I'm going to want you to do things specifically online, and I will let you know how that's going to be. So on the introduction to this reading, we're talking about who Elie Wiesel is and how he came to write this book. As you're reading, you may get confused by his name being Ellie, because we think of Ellie being a girl's name in America. Notice that he spells his name L-E-I-E. His full name is Elie Izer, E-L-I-E-Z-A-R. But his family called him Ellie for short, and just put a thought in your head that Elie Wiesel is a male. We're going to complete the assignments in this blend space. It's called TES or blend space, or I think they call it TES, but teach with blend space. So this time you're looking at what it is. Then you're going to start reading night. I want you to get through chapter 3 during the first week. You're going to take some notes on the chapters, and I have the handouts down on this page, but I also want you to know that they are in your handouts that I gave in class. And then we're going to do some flip grids. And I know you guys love flip grids because you beg to do them all the time. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go through this blend space first before you open the book or read or anything. So you're going to click play, and you can look at it with a full screen. Sometimes I have something for you to do. This has an introduction for you. I want you to understand the sequence of events that led to the Holocaust, who were some political leaders in Germany at the time, thinking about her propaganda, what happened when the Jews were taken, some vocabulary words you're going to need to know, and then Holocaust survivors and who is Ellie. So this is just the directions. This is a documentary I'm going to want you to watch. You're going to need to take a quiz. There's a PowerPoint of, I think this is an introduction. And I can't say this. An interview with Elie Wiesel and Oprah Winfrey when she chose his book for the Oprah's Book Club about 11 years ago or so. And then the last thing you're going to do is to, after you finish the blend space, is to write a reflection in your daybook. Kind of tell me what you learned during the class period. So there's about 9 or 10 things that I want you to do with this blend space. So, do the blend space, start reading. After you finish reading chapter 3, come back to this space and you're going to work on flip grids. So I have prompts for you to do on both of those, the 2 different flip grids. The book discussion, there is blog post where I'm going to want you to respond to a prompt. So the first thing is to look at the the guidelines, and how I'm going to grade your discussions. And what I didn't do is I take you back, I guess, to another page. Okay. And then you'll go to the Chapter 2 discussion, where my question is, use your knowledge of Chapter 2 in our simulation to answer the question. And the question is, how does Ellie Wiesel use imagery to create a symbolic journey through hell? So what you'll do is you'll put your name and your email, which is, please use your school email, and then the comments is where you're going to answer my question here, how does Ellie use imagery to create a symbolic journey through hell? And your writing will end up being comments to this question. Okay, so it's a blog post, discussion point, but for the most part it's, you're just responding to my questions here. Okay. Alright, and then you will take a quiz on chapters 1 through 3, and yes, I know that you can see all the questions already. I'm not trying to keep anything from you. I want you to be successful in this unit, and I see what you write. I see if you need help. I can see if you understand or if you don't understand, and I can see if you've let somebody else do your work for you. So because we are digital right now, I want you to do your own work. If you need help from somebody or me, please don't hesitate to ask, but also let me know what you can do on your own. Okay. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through everything as detailed as the first two sections, but I do want you to see that the setup is basically the same. So for week 2, we'll be studying the life in the camps, and this is for chapters 3 through 6, 4 through 6, somewhere along those lines. So you have chapter annotations that we'll talk about in class, but the papers here, if you misplace yours and you know the copy, you have 4 discussion prompts to do. We're going to talk about author style and tone. We'll do this in class, but we'll also have it here as reference. And then we'll talk about something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how the needs impact Ellie and his family. And then you have a flip grid for the night journal. Okay. Week 3 is going to be survival at all costs, so this will be finishing the book. Notice again I have your steps that you need to do during the week at the top. We have and the annotations for chapters 7 through 9. You have 2 discussion posts that week, and then we're talking about the UN Human Rights Declaration. Here you're going to do a little work, and then you're going to upload a Google Doc or a Word document here, and it will, the file is sent to me by email, and I can get it and see what's going on, make sure you understand what's going on. And then, because this is last week, we had to have a test. We need to have a test. We don't have to, but we're going to have a test. There's 3 different quizzes, tests I want you to use as a review. And so you'll just click join quizzes and then play this code first, and then play this code, then play the third code, just so you'll have an idea of kind of what the test is going to look like and how you do on it. The next part, week 4, is the Global Awareness Campaign. We're going to talk more about this in class, but for the most part, you are researching something that's happened in the last few years. So again, you have your steps at the top, and you have a Google form for you to talk to me or share your information with me. And then the handouts that are here will also I will also give to you physically in class. And then you'll put your projects on the Padlet here with links to your projects, and we can leave comments for the presentations. The last part of week 4 is going to be spent on the unit reflection, and here you're going to write a blog post about taking these 7 questions into consideration, and then you will complete your blog and then post your blog web address on this Padlet. Okay, and that is the end of my introduction to your work for the next 4 weeks. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm excited to start this unit with you. Thanks.